Hey, my super beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, gorgeous souls. It's Lizzie the Lightworker here. Welcome, guys. How y'all doing? I'm doing Aries and Capricorn today. This is a viewer's request, and I'm trying to get these done as quickly as possible for you guys. I have like 30 to do, so thank you so much for your patience. If you would like a faster response when you're requesting, you can always book with me. It assures you a time slot. You know, you'll know when it's gonna happen and everything. Make sure you're subscribed to and you hit the bell. I will not do request readings if you're not subscribed. There's I can't keep track. And it helps me keep track if you're subscribed so that I can put videos up specific, to your sign, and you can get more out of the channel, okay? Anyway, let's get right into this. I will leave links in the description box also for Twin Flame Separation Support Group and my private reading links. The support group on Facebook is really, really cool. It's a small number of people. It's private. Nobody can see or hear what you're saying in there, just us. I'm putting information in there to be helpful, learn about twin flame separation, learn about yourself, your spirituality, talk to other people like-minded, share your stories, place to vent. So if you're interested, I'll put that up. So Aries, divine female. Let's get into this. Thinking about the past. Okay. So the past, I feel like, is a little bit painful for our divine female Aries. I also feel like she's quite a fighter, and independence is an extremely important thing to her, okay? Her independence and being herself and providing for herself and flourishing for herself and maybe, making her own money and being like her own boss and, all those things are super important to her. I feel like she's at a place now where she has let go a lot of, more negative energies or things that were holding her back or things that were hurting her, okay? I just feel like she could be a bit defensive. She gets on the defense a lot. I feel like this communication piece here, for her divine male, I feel like she's sort of in a place now where she's super independent, okay? I feel like she's done a lot of work on herself. I feel like she's let a lot of shit go. And she's just sort of trying to be happy just being herself and being, alone or in that energy. I feel like in the past, though, there was arguing going on here between the two of them. I feel like, she may have felt like she had to defend herself when it came to his opinions of her or things he said to her. I feel like she would, snap back real quick and be like, how dare you? And, I got this and I'll say that and this will hurt you. And, so I do feel like there was, some hurtful words and some arguing and some hurtful things said in arguments and hurtful exchange of words and hurtful exchange that happened between the two of them here. Okay. And yeah, thinking about the past a lot. But again, I'm feeling like there was past issues, past things that hurt her that made her sort of go into attack mode and wanting to defend herself. Okay. Now, I feel like with him, he's a little bit more traditional of a guy. I feel like more like traditional, wants to do things the right way, very sort of right from wrong. I'll do what's right no matter what type of an energy. Very, very educated person, smart, ethical, fair, balanced, all those things. I feel like big on spirituality. I feel like he is very much into that. I feel like there's something with teaching or teacher or teaching or something with law or legal that, he's doing something with that or is that or in that type of profession or in that type of career or something like that. I feel like that's what makes him happy, is being himself and not going to change for anybody or be different for anybody or change his ways or his routines or his beliefs or his thoughts or his actions for anybody. He's happy being that way. He's happy being himself. That's what brings him happiness. I also feel like if it's career oriented, his career brings him happiness. He feels like it's a perfect fit for him. I also feel like during this time in separation, he's not all that unhappy. I feel like he feels like, yeah, it needed to happen. It was sort of a justice type of a thing. Like, I just didn't maybe want to fight like that, or I'm more traditional, maybe she wasn't ready for a commitment. I feel like he wants commitment. He's old school. I feel like he wants commitment. He wants a relationship with terms, like sort of like a long-term relationship with we're committed, you're mine, I'm yours, like kind of very traditional role, very stable, secure. He wants it sort of to be like vanilla, sort of like, okay, we're going to like save our money, we're going to get married, we're going to do everything the right way, the traditional way. I want that. I feel like that's his energy. And that's what's going to ultimately make him happy. And I feel like more so her, she's got some things to tame. She has a wild side, wild side, like a wild side, not in a bad way, like I mean like a free spirit and can't really be tamed. I feel like her independence is super important to her, and she may not be willing to change that for anybody. She may not want to feel tied down or nailed down to something, where she's providing for herself, making her own money, proud of herself, obtaining goals, sort of putting herself in a higher position, a higher place in life, getting in touch with her spiritual self, her higher self, making decisions based on her needs, what she needs, what she wants to see in life. That could be why they clashed. I mean, it looks kind of like that's what happened. I feel like she just gave up and didn't want to fight anymore. Because there is something with fighting here. And I just feel like, she might have pushed him away a little bit because she wasn't ready to commit or didn't want to feel like she had to be so direct and so nailed down to things, like that kind of a thing, if that makes any sense. Like maybe she didn't want to hear, oh, I want this marriage, I want this commitment, I want to do this and that, and he might have been a little bit too direct and too dictatorial, like a dictator, like that with her. I feel like that could have been it. And more so with him, I feel like this has been embedded into him, like the traditional roles, the way maybe he was raised or the way he learned. His own parents might have been this way, like this really committed sort of normalized, like, relationship type thing where there's like growth in the relationship and you get married and have kids and you do it all the, what do they call it? Like the white picket fence way. That's what I feel like he was sort of like raised this way, okay? And that's another reason why he may not be able to change any of that. But yeah, let's see and down the middle here, okay? Yeah, it definitely ended. I feel like this might be our divine female that ended this a little bit, but I don't feel like either of them are miserable in separation. I feel like they both know what they have to do separate from each other. They might not really even be like so directly thinking about each other. Like I feel like they're passing thoughts. Yes, they both feel the connection strong. Yes, it's there, it can never be severed. But I feel like they're both happy that they chose to do this in some way. They may have come to terms with this over time, or like finally realized and said, oh yeah, gee, this is better this way. But I feel like more divine female might have cut it here, okay? But they're not, I feel like they're not miserable. They're working on themselves. They're working on issues from their past. They're working on things that they know need to be healed and fixed and corrected, in good ways, okay? Both in good energies. I feel like our divine female might have been a little bit more the runner mode in the beginning. I could be wrong. Now, don't forget, guys, this could read in reverse. No issues with that whatsoever. If it does, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You don't have to ask for a separate reading. Take what resonates, toss what doesn't. But yeah, that's what I'm feeling like here, okay? Moving on. Okay, this is, to me, I'm feeling like our Aries didn't want to put up with the, I'm not going to change. Like, in other words, Aries is like to Capricorn. Capricorn's like, I'm not changing. Like, just stop. Forget it. Like, I'm not changing. I am this way. I don't care what you think. Maybe almost a little bit malicious about it, angry about it, almost like, I'll beat you, you can't win, okay? Like, I am this way, there's no way. And that could have caused some fights with her. Aries has that nature where they want to fight back. Okay, I'm an Aries, I know. We want to fight back when we feel challenged. I do feel like this is a challenge for them. Like the separation is actually a challenge, whether they realize it or not. It's a challenge for them to sort of look within themselves to sort of like release any stubbornness or setting their ways energy, kind of, if that makes any sense. And not worry about like, the progress of like, I don't know, to me sometimes this is, I'll step on anybody to get ahead. So I don't know if that makes sense for either of these two people, but to me this is an energy that's not really the nicest. It's kind of like a bratty energy where they're like, I won, na 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 na, like, kind of like in your face, like, ha ha, you're an idiot, I won. So I don't know where that's tying in here, but that's what I feel like. So it definitely had to separate. That's all I'm going to say. It needed to end. There was too much of this bickering going on and too much of these differences that just didn't match. Yeah, and thinking about it now, I feel like they both are thinking about the way that they acted, and still almost a little bit like anticipating when they'll talk again, if anything has changed within each other. I think they're both wondering, has each other changed at all? I feel like, yes, there's been minimal changes. There's been changes in attitude, changes in maybe not views, but changes in the way they think about the future. So I also feel like they're both supported. Okay, they both have people in their lives that support them on their choices, on their decisions, so they don't feel like alone in these decisions. I just feel like there might have been a little too much bickering going on, and they both sort of have like these, maybe not paranoid feelings, but kind of like a little bit of relief that that part is over, like that fighting part is over. That could be a little bit of that. But I feel like they're almost both in a period of completing goals, completing things that they said they wanted to do. And they have good energy for that. Each of them. Okay. But yeah, like a lot of self-work. And I do feel like both very strong personalities, extremely strong personalities here. Okay. So what I'm getting is, I feel like they could be happy if they sort these things out and like realize they could be happy together. But I also feel like they could be happy with or in other words, this I'm going to say this. They could be happy with or without each other. There was lessons to learn here about abrasiveness, about fighting, about moods, about not wanting to bend, not wanting to back down. And I feel like neither of them could surrender the need to not always be right. Like, in other words, surrender the need to always be right. Both. And sort of like definitely communication breakdowns. Like, if you can't see eye to eye on details of things, like let's just say politics, let's say religion, let's say world beliefs, those are major problems. But they're also 3D problems, because where do these things come from? They come from ego, jealousy, programming from our parents, programming from TV. Our beliefs are not always our beliefs. When we're in that 3D mindset, we're in that ego mindset, that programmed mindset. Our beliefs are not always our beliefs. We have to sort of go within and examine ourselves. What do we really want? What do we really believe? How do we really feel about things? How do we really feel about people? How do these two really feel about each other? Was it enough to make them want to come back and sort of compromise on things and teach each other things and learn from each other's sort of beliefs and views and mistakes and try to compromise and come together on it and come, find a halfway point where there's a more balanced kind of relationship here? Or is it for them that they take away from this, that this was not healthy, use it as red flags for the future to not align themselves in relationships that are going to cause such chaos and havoc? That could be part of it. But I do feel like if they sorted these things out, they could be happy together. They could be. I feel like they would balance each other in some ways, like, negative and positive, positive and negative. Like there would be some compromises and balances that could be had. But if they choose not to, and if they decide that, I don't know, maybe they'll meet up and they'll discuss all of this and they'll get it off their chest. Really what this is telling me is that they could be happy with or without each other. And I don't mean that to sound bad or disappointing or sad or anything like that. What I'm seeing here is that there is definitely compatibility issues too. Okay. Different views, different beliefs. Compatibility is not the best it can be. I almost feel like this is like more of a partnership if they were going to be together, like work together on something rather than a love connection. It could be that way sometimes, guys, and we cannot discount the fact that we have high level soulmates. Often high level soulmates are who we end up with and who we are supposed to end up with for true love and true love feelings. Don't forget, twin flame unions are not always pretty. They don't always show us things we like or want to identify with. They show us ugly things sometimes, things that we hate to admit. So just keep that in mind. And I love all you guys. Thanks for watching. Love and light. Please give me a big thumbs up. Check my description box for all my links. And thank you so much. I love you guys so much. Bye-bye.